Title: The Little Mermaid Betrayed became Queen of the Sea. In the depths of the ocean, where sunlight danced softly over coral reefs and schools of fish swirled in a mesmerizing ballet, lived a young mermaid named Seraphina. Her radiant turquoise tail shimmered with every flick, and her hair flowed like a cascade of golden seaweed. Seraphina was unlike any other mermaid. Where others found contentment in the safety of their underwater haven, she longed for the world above, the world of humans. Every night, Seraphina would swim to the surface, gazing at the distant horizon where the sky kissed the sea. She would watch ships gliding through the waves and listen to the sailors' songs and laughter. Among these humans, there was one who captured her heart, a handsome prince named Adriel. Seraphina had seen him many times, standing at the bow of his ship, his face illuminated by the glow of the moon. He was everything she had ever dreamed of, brave, kind, and strong. One fateful evening, the sea was calm and quiet, almost too serene, as if holding its breath for something extraordinary to happen. The surface was a silken mirror, reflecting the brilliant hues of the setting sun, painting the waters in shades of gold and crimson. Above the tranquil waves, a majestic ship sailed into view, its tall masts cutting through the dusk like a royal parade. The vessel was a spectacle of splendor, its hull adorned with intricate carvings of sea creatures, and its deck festooned with glowing lanterns. The soft, radiant light bathed the ship in a magical glow, making it seem like a floating palace amidst the endless blue. Seraphina emerged cautiously from the deck, only her head breaking the surface as she peered at the scene unfolding before her. Her heart skipped a beat when she spotted the figure at the ship's helm. It was Prince Adrian, his silhouette striking against the backdrop of the fading sun. He was dressed in regal attire, a dark velvet coat with silver embellishments, his chestnut hair tousled by the ocean breeze. Seraphina's gaze lingered on him, her breath catching at the sight of his smile as he laughed with his crew. The prince's laughter was rich and genuine, resonating through the night air like a melody that harmonized with the soft lapping of the waves. It was a sound that carried warmth and joy, drawing Seraphina in like the undertow of a powerful current. She edged closer to the ship, careful to stay hidden behind a large rock, her eyes never leaving Adrian's form. He leaned against the railing, his posture relaxed, his gaze fixed on the horizon, as if searching for something or someone beyond the vast expanse of the sea. "Happy birthday, Your Highness," a voice called from the deck below, breaking the quiet reverie. "Thank you, Captain," Adrian replied, his voice carrying an effortless charm. "Tonight is perfect, isn't it? The stars are bright, the sea is calm. It's almost as if the ocean itself is celebrating." The crew cheered in agreement, raising their goblets high. Musicians struck up a lively tune, and laughter and chatter filled the air as the prince's closest companions toasted to his health and happiness. Yet, despite the revelry around him, there was a subtle, unspoken melancholy in Adrian's eyes, an emotion Seraphina could see even from her concealed spot in the water. It was a look she recognized all too well, the yearning for something more, a longing that she herself felt whenever she gazed at the world above. As the night deepened, the prince turned his attention away from the celebrations and leaned over the railing, staring into the inky depths below. Seraphina's breath caught as his gaze seemed to search the waters, almost as if he could sense her presence. She held her position, her heart pounding in her chest, hoping he would not notice the faint shimmer of her scales beneath the water's surface. "Sometimes I wonder," he murmured softly, more to himself than to anyone else. "What lies beneath the waves? What mysteries? What wonders?" Serafina's fingers tightened around the rock. He was so close, close enough that if she reached out, she could touch his hand. But she stayed still, her courage faltering. What would he think if he saw her? Would he be frightened? Or would he be fascinated, just as she was with him? Suddenly, a loud cheer erupted from the deck as fireworks exploded overhead, casting vibrant bursts of color across the sky. Adrian straightened, his face lit with surprise and delight. The crew erupted into applause, the music growing louder and more jubilant. But Serafina barely noticed the fireworks. Her attention remained fixed on the prince, on the way his eyes sparkled in the light, on the way he looked so alive in that moment. "He's perfect," she whispered, her voice swallowed by the waves. A deep yearning filled her chest, stronger than anything she had ever felt before. She wanted to be a part of his world, to walk beside him on land, to speak to him, to share his laughter. Yet, she knew it was impossible. As a mermaid, she was bound to the sea, forbidden from entering the human world. And even if she could somehow gain legs, what would she sacrifice to make it happen? Just as the thought crossed her mind, a gust of wind swept across the deck, and Adrian's hat was blown from his head. It sailed through the air, tumbling end over end before landing with a soft splash not far from where Serafina hid. Without thinking, she darted forward, her movements swift and graceful. She retrieved the hat and held it in her hands, staring at the embroidered crest that symbolized his royal lineage. With a trembling hand, she placed the hat on the surface of the water and gave it a gentle push, sending it gliding back toward the ship. As it drifted closer, a sailor spotted it and leaned over to fish it out. "Your hat, Your Highness," he called, holding it up triumphantly. "Looks like the sea decided to return it." Adrian took the hat with a look of bemusement, his eyes flicking back to the water. For a fleeting moment, his gaze met Serafina's. Her heart stopped, the world around her fading away as time seemed to stand still. Did he see her? Did he recognize her presence? But just as quickly as it happened, Adrian blinked, his brow furrowing as if he couldn't quite grasp what he'd seen. He shook his head and turned away, rejoining his companions with a wry smile. Serafina exhaled slowly, relief and disappointment mingling in her chest. She watched as the ship sailed on, carrying Adrian farther and farther away until it was nothing but a distant glow on the horizon. She lingered in the same spot long after the ship had vanished, the memory of his smile etched into her mind. "I'll see you again, my prince," she whispered to the empty sea. "One day, I'll find a way to be with you." With a determined flick of her tail, Serafina dove into the depths, her heart set on a new course. She would seek the help of the Sea Witch, the only one who could grant her wish. Whatever the cost, she was willing to pay it. For love, she would risk everything. And thus, the Little Mermaid's journey began, a journey that would lead her into the darkest corners of the ocean, through trials and betrayals, and ultimately to a destiny she never could have imagined. Unseen by the humans, she drew closer. Suddenly, a monstrous wave rose from the depths, tossing the ship violently. Panic ensued as the vessel began to capsize. The prince struggled to keep his footing, but a powerful current swept him overboard. Without hesitation, Seraphina dove through the churning waters, her powerful tail propelling her forward. Reaching the prince just as he lost consciousness, she wrapped her arms around him and swam to the surface. She dragged him to the shore, her heart pounding with fear and hope. Gently laying him on the sandy beach, she sang a soft, enchanting melody, a song of healing and protection. With her voice, she transferred a part of her essence to him, ensuring his survival. As dawn approached, Seraphina knew she couldn't stay. She kissed his forehead, whispering a silent promise to return before disappearing into the waves. Adrian awoke to the sound of the crashing surf and the sensation of warmth on his skin. He found himself alone on the beach, the events of the night before a hazy memory. Yet, one thing remained clear: the image of a beautiful girl with golden hair and eyes as blue as the ocean. He searched the beach, calling out for her, but there was no trace. All that remained was an inexplicable longing, as if a part of him had been left behind in the sea. Determined to meet her again, Seraphina sought the help of the Sea Witch, an enigmatic sorceress feared and revered throughout the ocean. The Sea Witch lived in a cavern surrounded by jagged rocks and swirling shadows. As Seraphina entered the cave, a chilling voice echoed around her. "So, the Little Mermaid comes seeking help," the Sea Witch purred, her eyes gleaming with a sinister light. "What is it that you desire, child?" "I want to be human," Seraphina said, her voice steady, despite the fear gripping her heart. "I want to be with him." The Sea Witch circled her, smirking. "And what are you willing to sacrifice for this fleeting dream? Human legs come at a price, dear. Your voice, your most precious gift." Seraphina hesitated, but thoughts of Adrian filled her mind. "I accept." The witch laughed, a cruel sound that reverberated through the cave. With a wave of her hand, she conjured a vial filled with a glowing, iridescent liquid. "Drink this. When the sun rises, you will have legs. But remember, if you fail to win his heart by the next full moon, you will become sea foam, lost forever. And I," she added with a twisted smile, "will take the Sea Queen's throne." Before Seraphina could protest, the potion was thrust into her hands. She closed her eyes and drank, feeling her body convulse in pain as her tail split into two. Agony blurred her vision, but as the transformation completed, she felt the sand beneath her new feet. She was human. Prince Adrian found her on the beach the next morning, a vision of grace and beauty. Seraphina looked up at him, her heart racing. She tried to speak, but no words came. Her voice was gone. Adrian, seeing her distress, knelt beside her. "You're the one who saved me, aren't you?" he asked softly. Seraphina nodded, hope flickering in her eyes. Adrian helped her to her feet, his touch gentle. "I don't know who you are or where you came from, but you're safe now." He took her to the castle, where Seraphina was treated like a guest of honor. Day by day, their bond grew stronger. They spent hours together, walking through the gardens, exploring the castle grounds, and sailing along the coast. Despite her silence, Seraphina conveyed her feelings through gestures and smiles. Adrian felt a deep connection with her, yet something held him back, an inexplicable pull toward the sea, as if waiting for something or someone else. As the days passed, the Sea Witch's spell began to take its toll. Seraphina's legs grew weaker, her vision blurred, and her memories of the sea faded. She could feel herself slipping away. On the night of the full moon, she stood on the balcony overlooking the ocean, tears streaming down her face. The moonlight reflected on the water, casting an ethereal glow over everything. "Seraphina," a voice whispered from behind her. She turned to see Adrian standing there, his expression torn. "I feel like I know you, but I can't remember. Every time I look at the sea, I feel like there's something I'm missing, something important." Before Seraphina could react, a dark shadow rose from the waves. The sea witch emerged, her laughter echoing across the shore. "Ah, what a touching scene," she sneered. "The Little Mermaid's time is up." Adrian stepped in front of Seraphina, sword drawn. "Who are you? What do you want?" The witch's eyes glinted. "I want what I'm owed. The girl's soul belongs to me now." With a flick of her wrist, a wave of dark magic surged toward Seraphina. But Adrian blocked it, the force of the impact knocking him to the ground. "No!" Seraphina screamed, finding her voice once more. A surge of power coursed through her as she faced the witch. "You won't take me, and you won't have the throne." With a newfound strength, Seraphina summoned the energy of the ocean. Waves rose and crashed, forming a protective barrier around her and Adrian. The sea witch snarled, her form twisting into something monstrous. The two clashed, the water swirling with their fury. Seraphina fought with the determination of one who had everything to lose and everything to gain. In a final, desperate move, the witch lunged at Seraphina, but the mermaid turned human unleashed a blast of pure energy, the power of her voice resonating through the ocean. The witch's form disintegrated, her screams fading into the wind. As the waters calmed, a brilliant light enveloped Seraphina, lifting her into the air. When the light faded, she stood before Adrian, her tail restored and a golden crown resting on her head. She had become the rightful queen of the sea. Adrian, still kneeling, looked up at her with awe and love. "Seraphina, I'm the queen now," she whispered, her voice echoing with power. "And I love you, Adrian, but our worlds are different. I must protect my kingdom." Tears filled Adrian's eyes. "I don't want to lose you." Seraphina smiled sadly, reaching out to touch his cheek. "We will always be connected, you and I. The sea and the land, bound by love and sacrifice." With a wave of her hand, she granted Adrian the ability to breathe underwater, a gift of their eternal bond. "You can visit me anytime, but I must lead my people now." Adrian nodded, understanding the gravity of her words. As she turned to return to the sea, he called out, "Seraphina, I'll never forget you." She glanced back, her eyes filled with love. "Nor I you, my prince." With that, she dove into the ocean, her form merging with the water. As she swam deeper, a sense of peace and purpose filled her. She was no longer just a mermaid or a human's lover. She was the queen of the sea, a ruler who would protect her realm and the love she shared for eternity. And so, Seraphina, the betrayed mermaid, became the sovereign of the deep, her heart forever linked to the land above, where a prince named Adrian would always gaze out at the ocean, dreaming of the mermaid who had stolen his heart.
The Stories book is a captivating collection of tales that traverse diverse genres and emotions, spanning the realms of fantasy, science fiction, romance, and mystery. Each narrative is a journey into the unexpected, weaving intricate plots and compelling characters. With a skillful blend of vivid imagery and thought-provoking themes, this anthology invites readers to explore the depths of imagination and discover the universal threads that connect us all. From heartwarming moments to spine. We hope you enjoyed these captivating video stories. Be sure to subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming content like this. Thanks for watching and keep spreading the video story.